Yeah, I think we're on the air, aren't we, ladies and gentlemen? Oh, the dog's gone. I had the dog all lined up to show you the new dog called Frankie. Took over from a previous dog called Franklin, because this dog is about an 8-month-old standard poodle pup, and eats everything and tears things to pieces and all that kind of stuff. Anyhow, a nice man gave him to me, so I couldn't be churlish and say no, it's too young for me. So anyway, he might stagger in a minute and say something to you, but we thought we'd have another go today, just a few minutes of letting you know what's going on in our world, because it's about 3 years now. In fact, we left the parish of South Melbourne on the 1st of February 2012, and this is now almost February 2015. So we've been trying to re-establish ourselves as the Father Bob Maguire Foundation, away from a large precinct which had everything that we needed. Storage, room to park, food, everything. We had everything. Kitchens, refrigerator, everything. Anyhow, for one reason or another, we had to forget about all that and come around the corner into a more salubrious part of the neighbourhood, which is Albert Park, and set ourselves up with the help of people like Neil Mitchell on 3AW, who put out a call, please help poor old Bob, and the Electrical Trades Union, who said we'll pay poor old Bob's rent for a couple of years, which they've done. This place here that we're in previously it was a real estate agent's office, but down the back we managed to install a little on-site ensuite, so that in fact I didn't have to leave the area. I can live down there. And as we progressively lost our mobility due to a thing called chronic inflammatory demyelinating polyneuropathy, but which is eminently treatable, thank God. But as we lost our mobility in our hands and our feet, well, then we needed a place that was little, so that we could move around and do things for us. Anyway, well, that worked out all right, thank God. And so we're established in Albert Park with this headquarters. Well, there's the dog trying to get in now. You can see him running up and down the thing. And that was a good start. And then we ended up with another place down at the far end, down the old industrial end of South Melbourne, known as Montague, where we end up with a little warehouse, thanks to Crown Resorts, where we can actually park vans and actually do all the stuff that we did up at the parish precinct. We can even feed people there. I think we're feeding people once a week, locals, about 30 of them, inside, because that part of South Melbourne has become, what will I say, aspirational classes moved in, and so they've got their units not far from our place, and they get a bit nervous that maybe we, the guilty party, have allowed people who've been there for 50 years to in fact intrude on their space. We understand that. We've had meetings with them, and our invisibles have in fact agreed that they won't frighten the aspirationals. Anyway, that's what we're trying to do, and we're grateful for the opportunity of the help that's been given to us over the last 3 years from all kinds of people. Strangely enough, the whole area is going to change again, because Montague in the 60s was pulled to pieces by the developers, and there he goes again, the dog. So, and we ourselves have moved into the fag end of that 30 years or whatever it is period of commercialisation of the area. So here we are in a place that probably will be pulled down, and a tower, an accommodation place will be built. So we'll have to keep moving, you know. I mean, have a look at me, 80 years of age. How many times can I move? The next move I make might be down, you know, 6 feet. So I want to try and do all these things if I can help my board and my staff to be a bit creative and innovative, before, you know, that area of Montague starts to look like the inner city, or Docklands again. Anyway, we did have a foothold in the Docklands at the same time as we were extradited from the parish. Mayor Doyle and the council offered, we've got a place, maybe it was underused, and it was known as the Hub in Docklands, and they said maybe you can use this thing. So it's only this morning that we've handed back the keys, because I had hoped we could set something up like the parish without borders. So if I didn't have a parish, well then I could have a parish without borders, and probably try things that we're doing this afternoon through the YouTube, but also I mean to try to do some things like pop-up church services, not specifically Roman Catholic, but in fact maybe a gang of, a terrible word, isn't it, a team of clerics from various religions, where we could offer some kind of a service, a spiritual service delivery to people who are living in those apartments. So some bloke said to me the other day, he said, you know why they call them apartments? And I said, I don't know, I haven't thought about it. And he said, that's because it keeps them apart. Hello? That's an insight, I never read that. He said, no, they're all in there. He said, but they are apart. So we wanted to provide, God knows we didn't want to add another terror to living in high-rise, salubrious surroundings. But we thought, well, maybe people living in those situations may be in need of some kind of pastoral care, some kind of place, spiritual place where they could go to and either be quiet or join in some kind of a pretty, you know, plain spiritual service of some kind. Anyhow, there's some of the things we've got on our mind, or I've got on my mind anyway, at this time of this year. I drove around this morning, Port Melbourne, Fisherman's Bend, all kinds of interesting possibilities down there for any church or any religious organisation that wanted to not intrude so much as to provide comfort, yes, but also a pit stop for people who may find themselves in an area that's old by Australian standards, because it's 150 plus years old, and it's down on the river, and it's almost on Port Phillip, where people landed in the first place. My parents landed there in 1923. My old man, who was a sailor, stayed at the Seamen's Mission, which is down where Beacon Cove is now. So the connection, they lived in Pickle Street, which is just around the corner when they first arrived from Scotland. So it's there's lots of memories associated with this neighbourhood, which is one of the reasons, ladies and gentlemen, why we intended to stay here for as long as we could. Sorry, we went off the air there for 3 minutes. No, we're still going off the air. See, this the trouble with this thing is we go off the air. We don't pay attention. So we go off the air. Sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. We'll improve our performance as the time goes on. But thanks for listening to us today, because this 3 years, it's been a long 3 years. It's been an expensive 3 years too, to try to set up and to include an aspect of the foundation which is I like, and which has proved very helpful, and that is the provision of scholarships for local teenagers so that they can continue to go to school, because they don't have to worry about money, because we'll help them to pay their school fees, and we'll help them with uniforms and books. So that's been something that we've taken on since we've moved out of the parish, and we'll continue to do so, and hopefully we'll upgrade our services of feeding people, of clothing people, of offering them some kind of friendly, fair and firm companionship along their journey, and also helping young people to stay at school. So thanks for listening. It's 3 years. It's been a mysterious 3 years for me, but it's given me hope for the future, and it's also given us the opportunity to show that religion can be of some earthly use, not just of otherworldly use, which we've seen so many religions over the last 3 years fall into disrepute, because they don't seem to have any common sense, and they don't seem to have any. They seem to be determined to cause harm, and only and not do much good. So we have to continue to show a bit of light, instead of cursing the darkness. And of course, anybody who wants to join in the chorus is welcome to get in touch with us at by email, info@fatherbobsfoundation.com.au, and of course our latest and most exciting and professionally designed fundraising and awareness raising campaign is about to end, but there's still time to join in, and that's winhappiness.com. You might like to have a look at that. Anyway, thanks for listening, and maybe we'll be back tomorrow, maybe we'll be back the day after, but I hope that we can continue to let you in on at least one little outfit like ours that means to make a difference, and means to make a difference on behalf of people who are usually considered not to be the ones who make a difference. So there we go again on the blink. I'll have to learn how to press that button so the thing doesn't disappear. Anyway, thanks ladies and gentlemen, and I hope that the day and the night brings you peace and joy. Press button.